Yeah, we can see you.
No, we can see you.
Okay. Well, I guess when I'm singing, I'll be like the main focus, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Let me go a little bit. So now that I forgot that you were coming, just after we spent all this time together today.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right. So let me go over a few things for folks first, and then we will get started.
Sure.
So speaker view is on my Zoom is what gets you at, Amythyst full screen. We have been, I've been experimenting a lot with this. A few of you were at the first one. This is my second one. I've got another one coming up in November, which I'll tell you about after Amythyst performs. And I have been experimenting, and you've been putting up with a lot of emails. Feel free to email me if you have questions or more importantly, suggestions on how to do this better. I'm just doing a lot of trying it out. So everybody should be on mute pretty much all the time because a phone rings. I'm tempted to experiment with, unmute yourself to applaud, but then you got to remember to mute yourself. so you experiment, but be good. The participants list is at the bottom. There's 60 people now. You can look at that. And you can chat with one another on the chat, or you can chat with everybody. I'm gonna, and you can say, yay, great song, whatever you want to say. We'll have the chat and I'll send that all to Amythyst at the end. So let me just tell you what's gonna happen. Amythyst is gonna play for about an hour. We're a little loose. After that, we're gonna do kind of a Q&A. We're gonna talk, I've got things that some of her projects that you'll be interested in, and you will have a chance to ask questions as well. And then, like I said, we're gonna have a real short preview of who's next of Soli Canto. I just want to say, because some of the, for those of you sort of new to this, I'm doing this for two reasons. One is to help artists in COVID who have, no gigs means no income. But the other is to help introduce artists to new fans, because that's one of the things that's lost in non-touring, is you don't meet new folks. You don't get new fans. So I actually I'm gonna try something. I made a little poll, but I can't find it, so can't do it. Maybe I'll do it later if I figure it out. I wanna know if, and I'll put it up later, for who of you, for this is the first time you're meeting of, you're learning of Amythyst's work. So I'll do that later. I first saw Amythyst in Durham, North Carolina. I don't remember when it was. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, I think. She opened for Rhiannon Giddens, and I had never heard, I knew Rhiannon, but I didn't know Amythyst. I went to buy, I was pretty blown away, went to the merch table, met her dad, Carl, who is on line with us today. And then I've seen her several times since. Carl has been with her every time. I've gotten to know Carl a little bit. I've gotten to know Amythyst a little bit. She's part of a group called Our Native Daughters with Rhiannon Giddens and Allison Russell from the Birds of Chicago and Layla McCalla. And she's just sort of a rock star. A couple of us, I don't know if Mary Grillo's on the line, went to see her in San Diego right before shutdown. So Amythyst, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you. Oh man, I thought I was gonna have time to rebutton this part of my shirt.
Okay. So Amythyst lives in Jefferson City or Johnson City? It's Johnson City.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee. All right. And she's now just, and her song that she'll probably sing was nominated for a Grammy, like myself, and that same song won the Folk Alliance International Song of the Year. In COVID, you don't have a wardrobe team, so there she goes.
Yeah, I'm on my own here. So I actually would, at the day that I can have like a stylist, like a wardrobe team, that would be cool. So, but until then, I'm on my own, but I do the best I can. So. Well, before I start, I really want to say thanks to each and every one of you who has tuned in to be part of this show. This is, it's very rare to be able to perform in front of faces, in front of actual people, and Zoom kind of provides the closest thing to that in the virtual world. So to know that there's so many people tuned in right now, is just incredible. So, and look forward to talking to you all after the show, which is another thing I also miss doing. So, so this is really awesome. And thanks so much to Donald and everything that he does for social justice and for music. So, yeah. Baby wrote me a letter, this what it said. If you come around here again, I'm gonna shoot you till you're dead. Well, it ain't no mystery. I put red wine on your new girl's white dress. You was my darling with dark eyes, but now you's the devil that wants me dead. My baby's hands was covered in letters that said loving hand. When them hands would touch me, Lord, my skin would melt away. Hey, and I'd kick, scream, cry and moan in the best possible way. Oh, I was a bencher in the night, but now I'm the one that got away. Don't want no more letters, no more love songs. Gotta beat the lions in the den before they do me harm. Well, it's hard to break away when you want someone, but they just don't feel the same, yeah. Oh, I was your wildebeest, but now find somebody else to be your prey. All right, thank y'all.
Yay!
It's a little too dark in here. I can't read my set list, but we'll make it. So that was a song from a release that I put out a few years ago called Amythyst, Kiah and Her Chest of Glass, and that song was called Wildebeest. And most of the songs I'm going to play tonight are going to be from my upcoming record entitled Wary and Strange. And I finally, after 2.5 years of working on this record, it's finally almost done. I went to Sound City Studios in Los Angeles and worked with Tony Berg, who ended up being the producer. And I'm blown away by what happened in the studio over those 2 weeks in late July. Just he was able to help me take my songs to a place that I had always hoped would get, but had no idea how I was going to get there or when or what it would sound like. But everything is just sounds amazing now. So I'm really excited for everybody to hear it, which we'll be looking at like early 2021. So anyway, I'll be playing a bunch of songs from that. So this one is called Firewater, and it was written toward the end of my, I had a 2-year party phase in my late 20s. I was a bit of a late bloomer, so it happened during that time period. And this song was written after that and sort of reflecting, because usually when you start a party phase, there's a period of time where everything seems fine, you're having a great time. And then, there comes a point where if you do it too much, it's not so fun anymore. So this is the part of that journey where it was no longer fun and I was ready to not do that anymore. So yeah, it's called Firewater. Melancholy always seemed to work for me. Wistful and uncertain are my dreams. Stardust forms into shapes that never leave. Strange and wary they all seem. I'm a ghost in the hall, I hang in the room. Everywhere I go, impending doom. Spirits does it take to lift a spirit? I don't know, 'Cause I bought every spirit and I'm still laying here crying on the floor, So can you just leave me be? Being drenched in fire, water won't save me. I'll forsake the path of filth and fleas. Can you just leave me be? Pensive stares are the only crowns I've ever gleaned. So in the dark I find the answers that I need. City lights are the only stars I ever see. How many nights until I finally can breathe? How many spirits does it take to lift a spirit? I don't know, 'Cause I bought every spirit and I'm still laying here crying on the floor, So can you just leave me be? Being drenched in fire, water won't save me. I'll forsake the path of filth and fleas. Can you just leave? Can you just leave? Can you just leave me be?
That is so good.
All right, thank you. So, this song is the beginning stage of that party phase where things were seemingly fun, and I guess they were. You know, there was a time when it was fun, but I wrote this song and also recorded it on my last release, Amythyst, Kiah, and Her Chest of Glass, and it was a song that I, originally, all my songs 9 times out of 10 start on acoustic guitar. So that was one of the few songs that my band, or I guess one of the first songs that as a band with the guys I play here, where we were kind of like decided to kind of mix it up and try some different arrangements with that song. And so the arrangement that you hear on that record is kind of the result of that. But I also wanted to take the original acoustic guitar riff that I'd come up with and kind of see what could be built around that. And it ended up being on this record as well. So on Wary and Strange, that is. So this one's called Hangover Blues. Woke up this morning feeling bad, had the worst hangover that I ever had, and I know that my baby had it going on. My hands and knees and loins shaking, rendered speechless every time. And if I did it all over again, I'd do the same damn thing anyhow. Yeah. Like switchblades, breath of cigarettes. Lord knows I'd like to look, but I was scared today. And I know that my baby had it going on. You had my hands and knees and loins shaking, rendered speechless every time. You had my hands and knees and loins shaking, rendered speechless every time. And if I did it all over again, I'd do the same damn thing. same damn thing anyhow, same damn thing anyhow, same damn thing anyhow. Thank you.
You can't see the screen too much because she's got two setups up there, so feel free to open up and then close down for sound.
Awesome.
I have the AC turned off so it won't like blow into the microphone. So we'll see how long I last before I start melting, but so far so good. Let's see. This next one, I actually started writing it back in 2009 or 2010, something like that. And I'd written a verse and a chorus for it. And I felt weird about singing it because it was about something that hadn't really happened to me before. And I guess it's one thing to sing a song about something that's never happened to you, but to write a song about something that's never happened to you, I don't know, it just felt weird to me. So I didn't really do anything with the song. And then about 6 or 7 years later, unfortunately, it did happen to me. So I was able to, but then fortunately I was able to finish the song. So, you know, but I will say before I sing it that Amy Ray from the Indigo Girls ended up singing background vocals on this song, which still sounds weird to say that she sang background on my song, but she said she loved it, and I'm very grateful for her lending her voice. She did like 3-part harmonies, and it sounds absolutely incredible. So just imagine imagine 3 Amy Rays and 3-part harmonies singing on the chorus if you can. So this one's called The Ballad of Lost. Every time the wind blows, my mind goes to, my heart keeps on wandering, and my head is in the clouds. When your name slips through once ashes turned to dust. Make peace and bring me shelter to defeat the pain you caused me. But until then, I'll still be. I am lost. Maybe I have always been. And I believe that I can forgive. Can I forget?
Yeah.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'm gonna do a switcheroo here. Try not to slam my hands on too many things. Seems like every single knock and noise is like 20 times louder with the microphone.
It is sounding fantastic,
Oh,
Amythyst.
thank you. Thank you.
Everybody's, the people who have their cameras on, they're all kind of swaying back and forth. You can kind of watch that. And
Oh, that's
there's a lot
awesome.
there's a ton in the chat box as well.
That's really awesome. Yeah, thank y'all so much for like being part of this. This is amazing. So I really appreciate y'all being in here. You could have gone anywhere on the internet today and you decided to come here. So that's saying a lot because there's a lot there's a lot of stuff out there. So So I'll play another one from Amythyst Kiah and Her Chest of Glass. This is a song that I've been playing since, even since a little bit before that record came out. And it's that song from Vera Hall called Trouble So Hard. And a lot of you probably familiar with Natural Blues by Moby. That came out in the, I guess, late 90s, 1999, I think. And I remember hearing when I was a kid, and then years later, I was, on the Library of Congress website, just looking at different like field recordings, and came across Vera Hall and pushed play on Trouble So Hard. And there it was, all these years later, coming full circle. So, and then another full circle thing happened where Moby actually heard my version of the song, and then he asked me to sing it on his upcoming orchestral greatest hits. He's got a greatest hits record coming out that's orchestral versions of all of his hit songs. And so my voice is gonna be on that record, which is crazy. And that's supposed to be coming out sometime next year. But yeah, so another full circle thing happened with the song. So it was, so that was pretty amazing. I never would have thought that, who knows, when you record something, you don't know who's going to hear it. So it was really cool to be able to meet him and tell him how much I appreciated how he recognized the timelessness of these Lomax, these field recordings, and still being able to make a totally different genre of music than what I do, but like still see like the beauty in that and be able to make something awesome out of it. So yeah, it was cool to be able to tell him that. But don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Ooh, Lord, if my trouble so hard. Ooh, Lord, if my trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. I went down the hill the other day, so got happy and stayed all day. I went in the room, I looked in the bed, saw my brother laying there and he was dead. Ooh, Lord, and my trouble so hard. Ooh, Lord, and my trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. I went down the hill the other day, so turned to ashes as the sky turned gray. The wind blowing round, nowhere to go, stuck between the ocean and a lightning bolt. I'm a ghost in the hall, I ain't in the room. Everywhere I go in wind and dew. I went in the room, I looked in the bay, saw my body laying there and my dead. Ooh, Lord, and my trouble so hard. Ooh, Lord, and my trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Ooh, Lord, and my trouble so hard. Ooh, Lord, and my trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God.
Woo!
Whoa.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
This is another Vera Hall song. This one's called Another Man Done Gone. Another man done gone. Another man done gone. Another man done gone. Another man done gone to the county farm. Another man done gone. He killed another man. He killed another man. Killed another man. Killed another man. He killed another man. Killed another man. He had them long jeans on. He had them long jeans on. Had them long jeans on. Had them long jeans on. He had them long jeans on. Had them long jeans on. She put her high heels on. She put her high heels on. She put her high heels on. And when she feeling alone, she takes a shot of Patron. Put her high heels on. She don't know where he's gone. 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 Don't know where he's gone. Another man done gone. Another man done gone. Another man done gone. Another man done gone to the county farm. Another man done gone. Thank y'all. All right. To roll my sleeves up. How's everybody doing out there?
Good.
Outstanding.
Liking the music.
Awesome. Enjoying your music.
Thank you.
Must be tough playing without feedback, you know?
Oh, say what?
Thanks for telling me.
Really good.
People are having a good time, Amythyst. They are enjoying it. You could tell. You can't see
Awesome.
the little boxes with their faces in it, but we
Yeah.
can.
That's awesome. This little thing keeps knocking up against my guitar. I don't know how annoying it is to you all, but it's annoying to me. That should work now. Every time I try to get fancy, I'm clanging everywhere. So there we go. This next song I wrote, and it was actually on my very first full-length album. And I remember when I wrote it, it was, not to be too much of a downer here, although all my songs are pretty sad, but not to be too much of a downer, but I wrote this song sort of imagining what would happen when the sun turns into the red giant in allegedly 2 billion years and Mercury gets burned away and then the oceans are boiling on Earth. You know, that's something that I remember reading we had a big atlas, one of those atlas books. I don't even know if they still make those, but the book was huge. And my parents had it in their office. And I remember reading about the solar system and reading that particular paragraph, and that has stuck with me for so long. And in my mind, I thought that would be the only way that the world would end. And and little did I know, the older I get, the crazier and crazier things that I have read and heard and seen. So anyway, this is 19-year-old me thinking, oh, the only way humanity would be destroyed is when the sun turns into the red giant in 2 billion years. But anyway, you know, I didn't know about nuclear war or anything like that. Or any other kind of possibility. So, but anyway, like I said, not to be too much of a downer, but just my perspective when I wrote that song and has changed a lot over the years, and really learning how fragile the human psyche is, and how, just how fragile we are, and how egos can really get in the way of good things happening. So anyway, this song's called Myth. Oh, can you tell me where we going? And will it be like where we've been? Well, I won't see you again, so I guess I'll go rambling, oh yeah. Rambling, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mother's there, far and few, and there's not much left to eat. Yeah, and if we die in this dry ocean, Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Song.
Beautiful.
All right, thank y'all so much.
Amethyst, this feels really, we feel like we're privileged here to be sort of in this room with you. I don't know if other people, I think other people are feeling the same way. I mean, there are a couple of comments about that. There's something about this that feels very great, and the music is blowing us away.
That's awesome. Thank you. I mean, I'm feeling it here. I mean, even though we're all obviously we're all in different places all over, you know, all over in different places all over the place. But yeah, I feel it too, and yeah, it's really special. So. Where did I? Oh, I already plugged my guitar in. I was like, where's the cable? It's in there already. I got ahead of myself. So, this song is on the upcoming record. It's called Opaque, and I've been playing this song for at least a solid year and a half now. And I ended up playing baritone guitar for the song on the record. Tony kind of wanted to try experiment and make the song sound a little more swampy. And he handed me this Dan Electro baritone guitar. And then added tremolo to it, and it was such an awesome thing that I was like, a couple months later, bought a baritone guitar and recently picked up a tremolo pedal. So I'm expanding and experimenting with different sounds now. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, this is a song about a really weird dream I had about a person that I eventually had to totally cut out of my life because they just weren't a good fit for me in my life. So this one's called Opaque. In the rain, in the darkness, underneath your opaque coat, underneath your porcelain frame and jutting jaw, there lives a scared rabbit, eyes wide and terrified. Your veneer of perfect grace was just a mouse's masquerade, and just like that, she washed away, washed away, washed away, washed away. Just like that, she washed away. She came crumbling down and washed away. Every word heart kept a secret when you spoke to me of love. How can I ever know if it was true? Excuses made to avoid the truth. Looks like I'll have to leave you alone in this rain. Just like that, she washed away, washed away, washed away, washed away. Just like that, she washed away. She came crumbling down. She stood there choking in the rain. She shook her head and backed away. She'd rather die than reach out for my hand. She stood there choking in the rain. She shook her head and backed away. She'd rather die than reach out for my hand. Just like that, she washed away. Washed away, washed away, washed away. Just like that, she washed away. She came crumbling down. She came crumbling down. She came crumbling down. Washed away. Washed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that. I would say the most fun thing about working with Tony, working with the producer that like wants to kind of push the limits of things. The fun thing about it so far that I've experienced is that relearning my own songs, my own guitar parts. Because Tony was actually also he was a session guitarist before he became a producer. So he had some really cool ideas for guitar stuff. And yeah, so it's been, and I personally always enjoy getting new perspectives about, well, really anything in life, hearing new perspectives, trying new things, and with my own songs to be able to kind of see them in a different way and approach them in a different way is just incredibly exciting. So it's been a lot of fun being able to sort of, relearn these songs
So she doesn't
in a
have
different
computer
way.
there.
So
She's like just talking into the mic and can't see anybody.
I guess not.
That'd be super weird.
I don't know how to bring her into Zoom. Maybe just, the computer's not set up with that. Gallery.
Dave, don't you have a thing called speaker view up at the top right on your Zoom instead of gallery view?
Yes.
That's what does it.
Right.
let's see here. So this song was one that took me a couple years to write, and another song I also relearned on the record, or for the record. But yeah, it took me a couple years to write this song. It was about a very traumatic experience that I had when I was younger. And the way that I coped with it was to kind of ignore it, or at least disassociate my feelings around it. That was kind of my way of coping and powering through. But what ends up happening is that when you keep how you're feeling about something traumatic inside for a really long time, it kind of intrudes and interrupts your life in different ways. And so it wasn't until I really started to unpack, my feelings about said thing that happened. It wasn't really until then that I was really able to kind of just really see and realize who I am and what I'm capable of. A lot of us out there in the world end up holding ourselves back because of fears and just all kinds of things, because we all, at some point go through something. And so, but not allowing the something to, keep us from being who we can be is really important, but easier said than done, of course. But yeah, so this one's called Wild Turkey. Late at night when I feel alone, I cry in darkness, screaming to the unknown, 'cause she's never coming back. No, she's never coming back. Body in water for days and days, hopes for a safe return, her hopes in vain, 'cause she's never coming back. No, she's never coming back. When I was 17, I pretended not to care. Stayed numb for years to escape despair. When your soul dies, you just can't hide it. Everyone can tell. Oh Lord, will I ever feel right again? Tried so hard to be an automaton, body of steel and wired circuits for my backbone, 'cause she's never coming back. No, she's never coming back. Wild turkey in the car seat, the bottle's empty. I hope it gave her some relief, 'cause she's never coming back. No, she's never coming back. When I was 17, I pretended not to care. Stayed numb for years to escape despair. When your soul dies, you just can't hide it. Everyone can tell. Oh Lord, will I ever feel? decay. Stayed dumb for years to escape despair. When your soul dies, you just can't hide it. Everyone can tell. Oh Lord, will I ever feel? Will I ever feel right again? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Woo! Yeah. Ready?
That is so powerful. Amythyst is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, this light getting a little dim, but
I'm channeling.
that is
Someone
kind of
said,
dark. Hopefully you can still, huh?
someone said, I'm melting. Someone said, it's all your music is giving me goosebumps. This is on the chat. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, thank you all so much again for tuning in. And, this is, I mean, it really feels like a show because, here it's 9:06. So it actually feels like I'm playing a show at night. Like in a, I don't know, like in a, like in a theater or like a really nice listening room. I feel like, it's dark and then there's this light shining in and then there's people I can actually like see. So it really feels like I'm playing, playing at a place. So, and even my dad's here, he would have merch ready to go for y'all at the end of the show. So, like we actually have merch. I mean, it's here, but so yeah, this has been really cool to have everybody here. So this has been great. Let's see. Well, looks like I've got time for, oh, hold on one second. Yes? Yeah, I know, there's not really a whole lot I can do about it. So it's gonna look worse. That's why I'm just rolling with it. Yeah.
it's your stage manager.
My dad came to tell me that the lighting isn't good, which it's not. That's what I get for using a battery powered light. I will be getting one that actually plugs in.
You know what? It's just fine.
Yeah, because my other option is I can turn on another light, but it's really warm and it just would look weird. It would look as weird as this. So, but yeah, so, well, it looks like I've got time for another. This is actually, I think this is my last one. Let me make another little switch.
You can play as long as you want. We're here all night. I think this is just what we all want to do for the rest of the evening. So just saying.
Yes.
Okay, well.
But you might want your air conditioner.
Yeah, no, it is getting a little toasty in here, but but it's a tiny sacrifice.
Thank you.
Because I hate the worst thing is when the air conditioning kicks on and it's just blowing directly into the microphone. That's way more annoying than being a little sweaty. So again, It feels like a show because I would be sweating if I was on stage with the bright lights and all that. So, feels authentic. So yeah, well, I'll go ahead and do a couple more because why not,
Like myself.
Oh, it's coming. Like Myself is on the way.
Okay.
It is on the way. This is another song that I recorded for this record, and it is going to be Well, it's actually ended up, it's going to be a B-side. So it'll be released, but just, you know, not in the first official launch of the record. It's a love song and it's called The Worst. I always assume the worst, 'cause nothing else can be till I'm in my grave. I always assume the worst. And when I make my bed, it's made with razor blades, and I know it hurts. I always assume the worst. Love to watch you dance. I wanna tell you how I feel when I see you dance, but my mouth won't move, 'cause I always assume the worst. I always assume the worst, 'cause nothing else can be till I'm in my grave. Always assume the worst. When you hold my hand, how it burns and burns, but some of this don't hurt. But should I assume the worst? I love to hear you laugh. I wanna tell you how I feel when I hear you laugh, but my tongue won't bark. I always assume the worst. I always assume the worst, 'cause nothing else can be till I'm in my grave. Always assume, always assume, always assume the Thank you.
Outstanding.
Thank you so much. All right, I think this light has just enough juice for one more song. Ah, man. Hold on. Ah, there we go. Slightly better. Well, this is my last one, but thanks again so much for tuning in. Thanks to Donald for bringing us all together here tonight. I guess for you all, it's more like evening, but but nonetheless, it's really great to be able to share music with you all, and this has just been a great night. So yeah, thank you so much. So as Donald mentioned earlier, like myself, got nominated for a Grammy for Best American Roots Song, and it ended up winning Folk Alliance International. For those that aren't familiar with Folk Alliance International, it's a giant folk music conference. It's a really big deal in the Americana world, and that song won Song of the Year this year. So so that was really amazing. And I hate I couldn't be there, but travel was crazy, and it was one of those things where I couldn't make it, unfortunately. But Allison Russell, who's part of Our Native Daughters, took it in my behalf, and she looked so beautiful holding the statue. So it's a great picture of her holding it after receiving it. So it was really cool to see that. But yeah, I mean, this song, a lot of you are probably familiar with Songs of Our Native Daughters, where we, attempt to tackle the subject of the transatlantic slave trade and really examining the generational trauma that came from that system. And, it obviously affected the people that were enslaved, Black people, but it also affected white people as well, just in different ways. Anytime anybody that can say that or justify in owning another person, and even going as far as to use the Bible to justify it, there's definitely something not right in your head. So, I think it's safe to say that, it was the oppressor, or the person that wants to oppress, has their own set of psychological issues. And of course, our sympathy on that person is, it's not quite as, we don't lend that, we're not as generous with our sympathy on that than we are with the person that is actually being oppressed. But I think recognizing that this was something that negatively affected everybody, and that it affected everybody, and regardless of where you are with it, if we aren't able to, address and look at how these systems affected our society, obviously after, slavery was ended, there was, Reconstruction, which didn't end well. That's when the KKK really rose to prominence. And, then there was Jim Crow laws. Right now we have issue with mass incarceration, which is essentially another form of slavery in a way. So there's just lots of, different things that have happened because of that. And, and I think with this song, it was an attempt at capturing 400 years of history. And while this record and this song is obviously talking about a lot of tragedy, it's also important to also recognize the triumph of and to recognize the triumph, and to see to see so many people, all the abolitionists, all the people that, marched on Washington, all of the people, Black and white, that came together and have tried to make this country better and better, and making people see that, we need to truly live up to what the Constitution says, which is liberty and justice for all. So, so I think with this song, I tried to, at the very end, come full circle and say that, despite what's happened in the past, and despite the problems that are still facing, that I'm still around with I'm still surrounded by loving arms, and you know, including you all here today, who, you know, we all are on the same page with, you know, equality and everybody, you know, being seen as human and being treated as human and being valued. So anyway, that was quite the tangent, so pardon me. But anyway, here's Black Myself. Thanks for listening.
Amethyst, your camera turned off, Amethyst, maybe on the iPhone.
Oh, hold on, let me take a look.
We see your name.
Oh, okay.
It's back on.
It looks like it's back. Okay. Oh, that was the low. That was. Oh, dang it. Oh. It's all right. I kicked my headphone cable out of my microphone, so I couldn't hear anything anymore. Okay. Yeah, that was just the low battery warning. I've got 20%, so we're good. But anyway, here's Black Myself. Thanks for listening. And wash my face in the creek, but I'm black myself. I wanna sweep that gal right off her feet, but I'm black myself. I'm surrounded by the loving arms, but I'm black myself. And your precious God ain't gonna bless me, cause I'm black myself. Is you washed in the blood of your chattel, cause the lambs ride it away. When they stop shipping work horses, they bet their own anyway. Ooh. I don't pass the test of the paper bag, cause I'm black myself. I pick the banjo up and they sneer at me, cause I'm black myself. You better lock your doors when I walk by, cause I'm black myself. You look me in my eyes, but you don't see me, cause I'm black myself. Is he washed in the blood of your chattel, cause the lambs ride it away. When they stop shipping work horses, they bet their own anyway. Ooh. I don't creep around, stand proud and free, cause I'm black myself. I go anywhere that I wanna go, cause I'm black myself. And I'm surrounded by many loving arms, cause I'm black myself. And I stand my ground and smile in your face, cause I'm black myself. I wash away the blood and tears, I've been born brand new. There's no more work horses, but still some work to do, yeah. Cause I'm black myself, cause I'm black myself, cause I'm black myself, 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 cause I'm black myself. Woo! Woo! All right, thank y'all so much. Oh my God, it's getting so dark.
Oh my
Okay.
God. This.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Amethyst, if you want to Amythyst,
Thank
if you
you.
want to turn on your light, take off your guitar and just use your laptop and just take a seat, that'd be fine too, so we can talk a little bit, because, because your phone's running out. So, that was fantastic. I'll put it up again, the merch table. Let me see if I can find it from Amythyst's website. You want to go look for that. Merch matters a whole lot, whether it's, you should buy albums. You should buy T-shirts. You should buy stuff, because that's kind of what, that's what music is about in the age of streaming. So anyway, we want to we can spend a little time with Amythyst asking questions. And what I thought we would do is, if you want to ask a question, rather than everybody just doing it once, put your name in the stack at the, in the chat. Madeline's going to do that. I'll ask a couple of questions to get it started. Just put your name in the stack and I'll call on you. Feel free. Amythyst is, happy to chat. So Amythyst, are you there? I can't actually see you anymore. Or did you leave? Amythyst?
Here I am.
Yes.
And you can look at the chat also. It's anybody want to ask anything, just put your name in the chat. So I'm going to ask a couple questions, get started. So Amythyst, what's coming up for you?
Well, the big thing that's coming up is the new record. I recently signed to a label, and right now we're in the stages of starting the campaign. So I'm going to be talking with a bio writer here in a couple of weeks that's with the label, and kind of just shaping what that, what the narrative will be about my life. So that way it's like kind of consistent as, the campaign goes on. So, yeah, so we're kind of in the stages of that. There'll be like promo photos. So really just kind of starting to gather the things that need to be done to properly promote the show. Cause the label has like PR, all that stuff kind of in-house. So we're in the kind of very beginning stages of that. And looking for like a single release sometime in early 2021, hopefully January. It just kind of depends on, how things roll. It's important to not rush it, just because we want to make sure that, everything's in place. So, but yeah, so hopefully January or February, there'll be a single, and then the album will drop after that. So
drove up the coast, took a long way day with some beach and waves, and got a pumpkin. He always goes looking for the perfect pumpkin.
I think, Eileen, you're not on mute. I can't.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all right. So I think I've told everybody, I'm going to give all of the email addresses. A couple of people said they don't want that to happen, to Amythyst, to put on her mailing list, so that you'll get notifications directly from her about the new album. I highly recommend you buy it.
Yeah, please, because we sent out a newsletter at least once a month. And yeah, if you're not huge on, obviously we post everything on social media, but if you're not huge on checking your social media all the time, the next best thing is to get it straight to your inbox. So we have we have all the things to get you the information that you want to know. So,
and Kurt Chilcott, you can go off mute and ask the question yourself.
Sure, Amythyst, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
As Donald and many of the people here know, it's like one of the things we're all missing is live music. And I was looking at my canceled tickets the other day for all of the shows that have canceled. But my question for you is, these days there's so much crossover stuff in terms of genres of music, and one of the the freeing up aspects of no longer being under record contract where they're really pushing you in a certain musical genre is this experimentation. And I'm just curious, as you think about your music, sort of like, what do you see as your influences, and how would you characterize your music, or would you even put a genre on it?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I get asked that a lot actually. Like, where would I categorize myself? And um, I mean, prior to like the commercial music industry, it was just music. It was just, the music that you learned from your community. So, but in the end of the day, it was music. That didn't have all these other names for it. But obviously, this is where we are in commercial music. That's just part of it, having some sort of niche, some sort of name to to try to market to certain audiences or whatever. So, but at the basis, I would describe what I do, as Americana on the basis, just because I'm drawing from American roots music, in all respects, drawing from country, drawing from blues, drawing from rock, just from all of those areas, and what was great about this record label that I signed with is that they recognized that and wanted to have an artist on their label that was interested in like continuing to push the boundaries of what is Americana. And so with this record and with working with Tony, I've been really able to push the recordings. The sound has very much become experimental in that I'm using sounds and ideas that I hadn't previously used in my songs. So a lot of the songs that you've heard, like Opaque and Firewater, like it's the same songs, of course, but it's just the way that they've been adapted is very much different. And Tony told me, he said, honestly, I've never heard a record like this before. I don't even know, on this, I don't think anybody's going to know what to call it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, but I kind of like that. I like that it's hard to categorize because that leaves me the freedom to kind of, to try new things without being pushed too much in a box. And very fortunate to work with the producer and be with the label, and then also have a management team that encourages the alternative aspect of my musicality and wanting to try new things. So fortunately for me, not being easy to categorize has been something I've been able to continue to explore, which has been nice. So
Fortunately for us.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Totally. So Amythyst, I shared with Amythyst that most of the folks that I bring to this are political folks, a lot of organizers and activists. I don't know who's on, some people have dropped off. Lisa has been, fighting the Supreme Court fight all week, and, a lot of us are working on campaigns and all that. So I wanted to ask you to reflect a little bit on how you see your role as a musician and social change, or how you think about your art and social change, and just any thoughts you have, Amythyst.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, for the longest time, as I mentioned, with the song Firewater, I've been working through my own anxieties and fears and hangups over the past several years, all through my 20s. I've had, I had real bad social anxiety for a really, really long time. So, for me, being able to at least work through and come out of that and really start to really have the courage to want to step out and do something outside of myself. Because when you're kind of caught up in your own head, like it's hard to engage. It's hard to, to put yourself out there, because like you're worried about what's going to happen or whatever, you're worried about being judged, you're worried about, all sorts of things. And so really with Our Native Daughters, that was the moment where I was like, I have something to say. And I'd been debating for a long time, am I going to be an artist that just kind of, just does music, doesn't really get too political one way or the other, or doesn't really speak on social things or whatever. Do I want to be that artist, or do I want to find a way to express how I feel, obviously in my own voice, but, so it's been this ongoing back and forth for years. And with Our Native Daughters, I was able to find a place where I felt comfortable, raising my voice. And so that was the first step for me. And, after writing this record, I've written a couple of new songs and a few fragments of other songs now that are actually a lot more observational and making like commentary on what's happening around me. And it's been really liberating to be able to do that and to not feel worried about what someone's going to think, so I feel myself moving in this direction where I am very much wanting to kind of open up and one thing that I also did to sort of solidify that next chapter was on the end of this record, Wary and Strange, there's an intro and an outro of the song that I wrote called Soapbox. And it's essentially, it's a talking about me no longer being afraid to say what I need to say and to not allow other people that disagree with me to make me feel scared or like I can't speak. So at the very end of the reprise of Soapbox, there's an old interview of Nina Simone that I found, and it's plays at the end of the song, and it's an interview where she talks about, how can you be an artist and not speak about what's happening around you, and I think this was like 1965 or 66 when she said that. And she's been a really big inspiration to me musically, and the way that she was very fearless with the things that she said, and she knew the power that she had, and she wasn't afraid to use her voice. And so that's really inspiring to me. And I end the album with that quote to kind of solidify, like, the next chapter, the next album. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Hey, Jen, Jen Badgley has a follow-up, so why don't you just unmic or unmute, I guess.
Hey, that was amazing. You're
Thank you.
phenomenal. And so my question is actually, I think you answered part of it with Donald's last question, but I thought it was interesting that when you were introing an early song, you said, I wrote this a long time ago, but I hadn't lived this experience, so I thought it was weird, or I thought it was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And then but then you said, but then I lived the song, or now I lived the experience, and now I'm singing it. And I felt like you beautifully captured the lived and embodied dimensions of emotional and human experience. And I was wondering if that particular song emboldened you to expand your storytelling in your art, or did it make you even retreat more and say, I need to live something before I sing it, and play it? Or maybe just more generally, what do you see as a trajectory of your storytelling as you grow and move forward as an artist, especially in these crazy political times?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So yeah, obviously I started writing that song, like, that was we're talking like 11 years ago was when I wrote that song. So I definitely had a lot less life experience and all of those kinds of things. So, since writing that song and then Path Forward, I feel like I'm better able to, now that I'm I can get outside of my head long enough to muster up some cognitive ability to even wrap my head around other things going on, which was part of the issue. Like, that's why, you know, all of the songs on this record are very much like me finding an inner turmoil, you know, because I think in some ways you kind of need to deal with that. It's hard to, it's almost like, you know, you need to put the oxygen mask on your own face before you can help the other person, you know. At least that's kind of, for me, that's how it was. I can't, you know, I can't speak to everybody's, you know, personal experience, but for me, it was kind of like, I'm trying to figure my own stuff out. My wrapping my head around other things was almost too much, you know. So I think, so I feel like now that I've definitely lived more life experience and have developed that sort of courage and confidence to like speak my mind and not be, you know, not be afraid of judgment or come what may. You know, I see my songwriting trajectory definitely, you know, being a lot more like looking outside and making observations. And of course, there'll probably still be some like, you know, when some other like crazy tumultuous thing happens in my life, whatever that might be, I'm sure that, you know, a song about whatever that will be will definitely happen. But I think I'm just starting to realize that like, as an artist, you kind of have to follow like where you are in life and allow that to be the art, in some ways. And so that's kind of what I'm starting to kind of notice, at least for me. Like I just kind of have to, because once I got out of that tumultuous thing where like I have a relationship that's, you know, I'm in a relationship that's really stable, you know, and I've really like gotten a lot more organized and like focused in my life. So like, I don't have a whole lot of like really sad, depressing feelings to write about anymore. So it's kind of like, all right, well, what else is there? And then I start to be able to look out and see what's happening in the world and be able to go from there. I wrote a song it's about conspiracy theorists. So I wrote a song about that, and my observations on that. So that'll probably be on the next record more than likely. But yeah, so I'm starting to get in this other territory where I'm really trying to tackle some stuff that I've been thinking about. So yeah.
That's cool. All right, so I think we're gonna let you go because, you know, you've been working since 9 a.m. and it's now almost 10 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
And as you told me earlier, you're not a night person. So,
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to be, but not so much now. Yeah, it's different, but it's all right.
anyway, this has been so fabulous. The comments, I'll send you the chat and you'll be able to read them carefully. And then
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
we'll have the recording. Everybody who signed up or like, if you have emails for, I'll, you know, make sure you can get the, you know, the full video and recording of that.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
And so I will, for, you know, a lot of people have been jumping off because I've got a place to go, but I'm going to play a song of the band that I'm doing in the next one, which is going to be on November 14th. It's actually a double bill, Soli Canto and Alisa Amador. It's a family, they're actually related. So you'll see all three of them, but they have their separate careers. So I'm just going to give you a little taste of it. And there's a link in the chat with a Google Calendar link. If you just want to put it in your calendar, you're obviously going to get emails from me, like a gazillion. So anyhow, I think we can just thank Amythyst. She's like the rock star.
Thank you.
A rock star in every sense of the word.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. This was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Right. So I'm gonna play this song real quick, and you know, I think you're gonna like it. So let's just do that, and then we'll go off and do our thing.
Smile gets under my skin, as if it were the spring.
Wait, here we go.
A song from Cuba. In such a quiet way, your smile gets under my skin, as if it were the springtime and I was dying. How subtle the way in which you poured on my shirt all of April's flowers. How spiritual that you should offer me a rose from your favorite rose garden. De qué callada manera se me adentra usted sonriendo, como si fuera la primavera y yo muriendo. Y de qué modo sutil me derramo en la camisa todas las flores de abril. ¿Quién le dijo que yo era? Risa siempre, nunca llanto, como si fuera la primavera. No soy tanto, y en cambio qué espiritual que usted.
What happened?
Que usted me brinde una rosa de su rosal principal. De qué callada manera se me adentra usted sonriendo, como si fuera la primavera. Yo muriendo, de qué callada manera se me adentra usted sonriendo, como si fuera la primavera. Yo muriendo, para, de qué callada manera se me adentra usted sonriendo, como si fuera la primavera y yo muriendo. Y de qué modo sutil me derramo en la camisa todas las flores de abril. ¿Quién le dijo que yo era risa siempre, nunca llanto, como si fuera la primavera? No soy tanto, y en cambio mi espiritual que usted me brinde una rosa de su rosa principal. De qué callada manera se me adentra usted sonriendo, como si fuera la primavera. Yo muriendo, de qué callada manera se me adentra usted sonriendo, como si fuera la primavera. Yo muriendo, para, yo muriendo, 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 yo muriendo. Take care.
Stay well, everybody.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, well, that's what's next.
Awesome.
So just be
All
ready.
right.
November 14th, put it on your calendars. Thank you, everybody. Thank
Donald.
you, everybody. This was great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donald. This was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much. Loved it. Thank you, Donald. This is good work. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ann. It's really good to see you.
It is. Hi, Madeline.
Thanks, Donald. And it's good seeing you again.
Yeah,
So
thanks,
listen,
Carl.
we're going to do the next one. Bye.
Good. Bye.
See y'all. Great to see you again, Carl. Be well. Your daughter is incredible. You know that, though.
Bye, Devery. No, it's nice to see your name.
Everybody's on
Okay, I
mute.
got my sound there. Hey, good, good. It's good talking with you again. And hopefully we can do this again.
You bet. Okay. See y'all.
Bye-bye.